Hi, I'm Carolyn, and today I'm going to teach you how to make tomato soup. So the first thing I did is I went over to my local farm market and I got a basket of tomatoes. Actually, I got a basket and a half of tomatoes because I asked for their softs or their seconds. So what I did is I cut out all the imperfections, and I lost a few tomatoes, but that was expected. That's why I asked for a basket and a half. And this recipe calls for a basket of tomatoes. So we're hoping we have about 14 quarts of tomatoes. But since we're making soup, it doesn't have to be a perfect science. We're just going to put all our ingredients in. And I'm not sure if it's going to fit in one pot. We're going to try for one, but more than likely, I have a second pot here. We're going to use both pots and split the ingredients up. So let's start with our tomatoes. And like I said, it was supposed to be one basket. So what I did is just cut them and quartered them. So that's already half a pot full. We're up to here. So I'm guessing we're definitely want to use both our pots. So let's go ahead and get the second pot. And this is a nice tray of tomatoes also. And I lost quite a bit, but that was, like I said, to be expected. So we're just going to move that off to the side. So they're both filled about halfway. So now we'll just use the last bit. And my hands are nice and clean, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my hands to fill them in there. So, like I said, we just cut out the bad spots. We threw out a couple tomatoes. I did have to purchase these. My tomatoes are finishing up out there, but I did want to jar some tomato soup. So let's see. That's pretty even. And then I have about 7 onions. Sweet onions I use, so we're going to just go ahead and split those between the two. And we just washed them and quartered them. And we have, since our recipe calls for 1 celery, and I had a feeling we were going to get 2 pots, I cut up 2 celery stalks and put 1 in each pot. It calls for 14 sprigs of parsley. So I used about a half a bunch, and I just washed it and chopped that up. And then this, I was figuring, they asked for 3 bay leaves, and I'm going to use 2 in each pot. Let's see if we're missing anything else in our ingredients. It says wash and cut up tomatoes, heat in kettle, add onion, celery, parsley, and bay leaves. Cook until the celery is tender. So we're ready to go ahead and put those on the stove. And we're going to go ahead and cook it at medium. And we'll stir that in between and make sure that that's in good shape. Now, meanwhile, I'll put my jars in the dishwasher, and we'll go ahead and turn those on. And I'll clean up my mess. I'll wash some lids, and we'll be back. Hi, and we're ready for the next step. Our tomatoes and onions and celery has all cooked down. It's nice and soft, and it's very liquidy. I put it all in one pot so that way we can work out of one pot. And I set up the strainer so the skins will come out right over here and all the liquid will come out the bottom. So let's go ahead and, like I said, it is pretty liquidy. We'll just crank it. And then we can dump this right into a fresh pot, like I said. Hi, so we're back, and we strained all our tomatoes. We have them on in the back here. Actually, I forgot to put the stove on. Oh no, I do have it on. It's on medium, and we're just going to heat that tomato back up. Meanwhile, on the back end, I have the lids of our jars are getting heated up, and I have the canner, and that is boiling, so I'll turn that down a little. So our next step is to make the roux, which is 14 tablespoons of butter. I know that seems like a lot, but remember we had 14 quarts of tomatoes, and we have 14 tablespoons of flour. So we're going to go ahead and heat that up. I probably should have heated the butter up before I dumped the flour in. But let's go ahead and turn that on. So we're going to just go ahead and heat that up to make a little roux. I did take my butter out earlier, so it is melted. I'm just going to go ahead and try to mix that flour in there. And now we're going to take a ladle full of our tomato, and we'll just add that right to our mixture here. Do a little bit more, maybe 2 ladles. And I'm going to take my whisk, and let's just whisk that up. Okay, take that off. And I think you can see that. See how nice and thick that is? And now we're going to add that to our tomato. So this does have to heat, but we will go ahead and add that roux right into our tomato. And then we'll whisk it in there. And I wanted to let you know what else was going in here. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of pepper. So that I put right there. And then we're going to add 4 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, so we'll whisk that up. I'll put that back on the stove to heat. And once it's nice and smooth and heated through, we'll go ahead and can our tomatoes. So I'll be back. Hi, and we're back, and it's time to can our tomato soup. So it heated through to just about boiling, but if you could get it to boil, that's fine as well. And I have my jars that are coming hot out of the dishwasher. And I'm just going to stir that a little. Smells delicious. And we'll just go ahead and put that tomato soup right up to that bottom rim. So you still have that 1/2 inch headroom. So I have a funnel. We don't have to worry about air because this is so liquidy. We won't have any air bubbles. Move over to the side here. Thought we could do all 7 pints. So I'm using pints because that's a nice lunch size. But you can certainly do quarts. We're going to process them for 15 minutes. And that should be okay for pints or quarts. If you wanted to go a little longer on your quarts, you could go 20 minutes. I think 15 minutes will really do us. We're just looking, this is already cooked. We're just looking to seal our jars. And we used about, I don't know, maybe 1/3 of our tomato soup, so we should get a nice amount of pints out of this. And the next step is we just wipe all our lids off. The lid of our jar, I'm sorry. The tops of our jar. We're just using a wet or a damp paper towel just to make sure we have a good seal with our lids and our rims. And now I think you've seen this tool before. It's my little magnet. to get the hot lids out. I'm just going to put them right on top of the jar. Now the jars can be used year after year, but the lids have to be brand new. And the screw part of the lid can be used year after year as well. So then we're just going to screw the tops on, and we're just going to use our medium strength so that way it's sealed. But in order for the air to get through and seal the jars, we have to leave a little bit of flex there, so don't use your Hercules arms. And that is 7. Okay, I think we're in good shape. So we're going to place our pints in here. Hopefully we won't have any breakage. Sometimes we do. What are you going to do? Ooh, that's tipping over on me. Let's drop that down, the basket down. We left a little bit of headroom. We wiped our jar, the lids off, tops of our jars. We put clean, disinfected lids on, and then we screwed it on. We're going to put it in our canner. We're going to let that start to boil. And once it starts boiling, we'll count for 15 minutes and we'll be able to pull them out. Hi, and we're back, and it's time to take our jars out of the canner. Go ahead and turn off the timer. And that lid is hot, so be careful. I'll use my tool. And let's hope that none of these are broken. And you want to remember when working on it with a canner, you want to wear your socks and sneakers so that way you don't accidentally drip hot water on your feet. And it looks good. All 7 winners. So thank you for joining me for this segment of our canning and freezing. I hope that you have an opportunity to can some tomato soup yourself. If you like it, our segment, you can make a comment or like our page, and you can also find more videos on our YouTube channel. Now, you'll let these set overnight, and they should seal. If it doesn't seal, you can put it in the refrigerator and eat it, you know, within the next couple days. These should last all winter long. Thank you so much. Take care.